And it's Firmino again, and this time the ball is deflected behind off Toby Alderweireld. Tremendous start by Liverpool. Firmino's had one chalked off and one deflected wide inside the opening 2 minutes.
Well, Milner is at the heart of everything. Great little ball into Firmino in the box, but as you say, going back to that goal, Firmino got the slightest of touches on that wicked ball in from Milner. I'm not too sure Mane done anything wrong there. He certainly didn't touch it.
Milner's out swinging corner, up they go. Van Dijk gets a flick on it. It comes out to Sadio Mane. Tremendous start by the visitors from Merseyside. Mane tried to get it beyond Danny Rose. It's hoofed away by Harry Kane in the heart of Tottenham Hotspur's defence. That tells you how determined they are and how much of a rearguard effort they've had to put in these opening couple of minutes. Michel Vorm will get 2 gloves around the ball, and Tottenham finally have the ball at their feet after an extraordinary opening 2.5 minutes.
Well, could have easily had 2 goals there. Liverpool really bright, getting the ball wide, getting the ball into the box. Really dangerous at the minute. Settled down really, really well. I think for now, Pochettino want his troops just to get on the ball, retain it for a pass or 2, settle down.
Well, Tottenham are without Dele Alli and Hugo Lloris today. They make 3 changes from the side which lost at Vicarage Road and squandered that 100% start to the season. We have Eric Dyer, Harry Winks returning along with Danny Rose. We're looking at the decision. Maybe Mane did get a touch.
I don't think Mane's touched the ball there. No, it's actually come off Alderweireld.
Yeah.
I think Firmino's got the faintest, and it's actually come off Alderweireld. Look, the end of his boot, and I think Mane sticks his foot out. It doesn't.
Well,
it's a problem off Alderweireld.
I think
Firmino's got the faintest, and it's actually come off Alderweireld.
If the player is making a motion towards the ball to try and play it, then he can be considered offside, and I suspect that's what Michael Oliver done. If Mane hadn't stuck his foot out, but it's an instinctive move, I guess, from a striker, you'd probably know. But, I think that's why it's been chalked off in that there has been an attempt by Mane. Although he didn't make any contact with it, the rule is that if he's deemed to have tried to hit the ball, then he's offside. Here come Liverpool. They've been terrific. Oh, it's Firmino. Mane wants it. And he finds it, but not with the best pass. Mane has to check back, and then he's bundled over by Harry Winks. It's been a ragged start by Tottenham Hotspur, who've been carved apart on numerous occasions. Every time Roberto Firmino has the ball anywhere near him, there is clear and imminent danger. It was a good ball by Milner. Firmino should have released the ball a little earlier than he did, and it didn't have a lot of pace on it. Then a rather clumsy challenge by Harry Winks, just bundling Mane over. And Liverpool have a free kick here. Trent Alexander-Arnold, still a teenager, played for England in midweek, making his 50th appearance for Liverpool, still 19 years old. May well be the most likely free kick taker.
Well, they're makers of their own downfall there as well. Alderweireld with a switch of play, really poor pass, but Alexander-Arnold now on the ball.
Strikes it right-footed. And it's weak and central and easily saved by Michel Vorm.
I wasn't sure what he's trying to do there, because he went goalkeeper side, maybe hoping he would move, but in the end Vorm just stayed still.
Long ball forward by Tottenham. Eriksen is inside the Liverpool box, goes tumbling over. Joe Gomez was alongside him. Very, very optimistic penalty cries from the Tottenham Hotspur fans. That's the first time they've seen the ball anywhere near Alisson's goal. Crowd booing Michael Oliver, but there was no contact here at all. It's clearly not a penalty.
You can see them though trying to release Eriksen early. I don't think they're going to have the lion's share of possession, Tottenham, as they have done in most other games. Despite this sort of formation they're playing, they just can't get hold of the ball at the minute. Really bright start from Liverpool.
Yeah. Here's Andrew Robertson, now captain of Scotland, although we had a mixed bag. Heavily beaten by Belgium, but winners against Albania subsequently to that in this new European Nations League, which UEFA have come out with to try and minimise the number of friendly international fixtures. It was interesting actually watching England that The game against Spain was well contested. You only had 3 substitutions under normal rules, and then against Switzerland the game became very disjointed. So at the moment that looks like quite a good innovation. 6.5 minutes gone at Wembley Stadium. I haven't had time yet to take you through the full lineup. Spurs have Michel Vorm in goal, a back four of Kieran Trippier, Toby Alderweireld, Jan Vertonghen and Danny Rose. A midfield diamond of Eric Dyer, Harry Winks, Moussa Dembele and Christian Eriksen. Up front, Lucas Moura, 3 goals this season, and Harry Kane. Liverpool have Alisson in goal, the back four, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Virgil van Dijk, Joe Gomez and Andrew Robertson. Across midfield, James Milner, Gino Wijnaldum and Naby Keita, and up front Sadio Mane, Roberto Firmino, who's already had a goal disallowed, and Mo Salah. Forward it goes for Liverpool again, nodded away by Trippier into Harry Winks, who just steers it back to Michel Vorm, deputising for the second time for Hugo Lloris, who's had a pretty dreadful week. Not only is he injured, he was fined £50,000 and banned from driving for 20 months after admitting a drink driving charge, in which the prosecutor said he was the proudest man on earth, arguably, when he lifted the World Cup trophy in Moscow, but has fallen from grace since then, although Tottenham have said that Lloris will remain as captain. Jurgen Klopp folds his arms and looks across the pitch. He'll be absolutely delighted with the way Liverpool have started. They are playing like table toppers with a 100% record at the moment, certainly.
Well, they are. They've got every free kick apart from now, Michael Oliver. I think the crowd, ironic cheers, have actually got one that's gone their way. I know they've employed a throwing coach, Liverpool, but yes, Andrew Robertson basically just gave the ball away there. I mean, when you come so close to the thrower, there's not a lot you can do apart from set the thrower back, and that's what happened there. Lost possession, given away a free kick, and now this ball is going to come into the box via the excellent delivery of Trippier.
Yeah, he's already scored this season, Kieran Trippier, with free kick against Fulham, but of course he scored in the World Cup semi-final against Croatia early on. This is not a shot, it's going to be a cross, right-footed from the Tottenham player. Great ball in, and there was an offside flag in the end against Toby Alderweireld, who got goal side, put his header over the bar. It was a diving header by the Belgian international, but he was offside.
I think that was tight, because to me Wijnaldum on the far side looked like he was just playing him on, but because they've got such a high line, it really suits with an outswinger. So on this right hand side, if that was an in-swinging ball, they'd never get on the end of it because the Liverpool line is so high, but with an outswinger, right footer for example, it gives them a chance.
Foul on Virgil van Dijk. He was just inside the Tottenham half. Spurs don't have a great record against Liverpool, it has to be said. They are unbeaten against them at home in 3 matches, and of course won 4-1 here last season.
I think he's left his arm there. Moura, definitely.
It was malicious, but it was clumsy.
Well, I think it's, look, as a former front man, you know what you're doing there. Coming from the side, you've got to get up, put your arm across, but it's got to be careful. I've seen players get sent off for less.
Van Dijk is okay, and clips the ball himself away towards the far side, and it's controlled by Trent Alexander-Arnold. Can't find Milner. Harry Winks is in the way. Winks, who had a few injury problems last season, which limited him in terms of appearances, but he's fit again. I was making about Tottenham's recent record against Liverpool. That win here by 4-1 emphatically last season was only their only win against Liverpool in 12 matches. Here's Andrew Robertson, swirls it in, left-footed. It's headed away by Alderweireld. It's put it straight out of play. He was trying to find Trippier. It's going to be a Liverpool throw-in. What on earth does a throw-in coach do?
Well, I mean, look, they're obviously. I think the strength of Jurgen Klopp is that he doesn't feel he knows everything. So he's brought Pep Lijnders back in, who did leave and go and become a manager in Holland. Didn't work out. He's got a very strong support staff around him, which I think is maybe his strength. He realises, look, I don't know everything. Any little percentage advantage. So throwing coach is maybe one of them. Yeah. Look, you're going to have 20 each side of the pitch. So Andrew Robertson has already had 3 or 4.
Yeah.
It's making the most of it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I'm being slightly disingenuous by having a little
look, it's not rocket science, is it? A throw-in, but still.
It's amazing how many players make foul throws, though, isn't it? Here's Danny Rose for Tottenham. That's a terrific-looking ball towards Harry Kane. It was until Virgil van Dijk stooped in, got his head to it and put it away. Here's Lucas Moura. First chance, really, for Spurs with 11 minutes played to actually launch any kind of attack. They've gone back towards the halfway line now. It's spread by Vertonghen to his international teammate Alderweireld. Now Dyer. So many of the players on show were involved in the World Cup, of course. Virgil van Dijk was one who missed out with the Dutch not qualifying. Here's Harry Kane, the Golden Boot winner, but can't find the ball forward. His England teammate Trent Alexander-Arnold knocks it up towards Roberto Firmino, and Toby Alderweireld smuggles it away for a throw-in to Tottenham Hotspur, who, as far as I know, don't have a throw-in coach.
Well, what I have seen so far from Tottenham is that the first pass they're looking for, if it's on, is that ball over the top. So whether they've seen a weakness there in terms of Liverpool, how high they defend, but they see that as an opportunity to get in behind.
Danny Rose drives the ball down the line. It hits Trent Alexander-Arnold. Danny Rose was outstanding in England's win against Switzerland. I wonder whether maybe that's why he's preferred to Ben Davies today.
Well, he was dropped against Watford, that's the only thing. He nearly cost them a goal. Obviously against Man United, got away with it, but he's in the team today.
The throw-in, far side. Liverpool have won 18 titles in their illustrious history, but incredibly not one in the Premier League era. The last time they won the title was in 1990, when the likes of John Barnes and Peter Beardsley and John Aldridge were in their team. Tottenham go back, goodness, the year Yuri Gagarin first blasted into space was the last time Tottenham Hotspur won the title, when they won the double under Bill Nicholson in 1961. Dyer forward for the current Spurs team, can't find Moura. Pitches it away from Alexander-Arnold, but there's a flag up for an offside against the Brazilian. Moura was, I think, rightly bestowed with the Player of the Month for August. He scored a double against Manchester United in a 3-0 win. He also scored against Fulham. He's Tottenham's top scorer with 3. Harry Kane has got 2. But his overall game and the way that he's slotted in a slightly different setup offensively from Pochettino, with Kane having more alongside him than he probably did last season. But he's been absolutely terrific, the Brazilian.
He's so quick. Look at him there. He got back on side, but he still had work to do to win the ball back. But he's just such quick, such acceleration.
Nice play by Eriksen, who scored 2 more goals for his national team, Denmark, in a win against Wales on Sunday. He's got 15 goals in his last 18 internationals, Eriksen. Although it hasn't been quite as prolific for Tottenham. He hasn't scored in 10. But he has been absolutely magnificent.
Well, just looking at Naby Keita, he's definitely playing one of the higher midfielders along with Milner, with Wijnaldum sitting in front of the back 4. That's how Liverpool are setting up in that midfield. Obviously the front 3 we know all about.
Naby Keita, a recent signing from RB Leipzig in Germany. Cost a cool £52 million. Was sent off 4 times actually last season for club and country. So Tottenham will be, I'm sure, trying to instill a bit more discipline. He doesn't seem like the sort of player that picks up a lot of red cards, but that's what happened in the Bundesliga last season. 3 times sent off for Red Bull Leipzig, once for his country, Guinea. Van Dijk chasing with Kane. Out comes Alisson, who will be mindful of what happened at Leicester.
I think he just tucked the ball out, You could see him thinking, right, actually, this might be on to do a quick turn. You know what, I'll just put it on the play.
No, he's done the right thing. Shocking mistake against Leicester City. Kelechi Iheanacho just possessed him, and Rashid Ghazal scored for the Foxes, but Liverpool kept up their 100% record with a 2-1 win. Here's Eric Dyer for Spurs, clipping it in, useful looking ball, headed away by Gomez, the player who's blossomed in recent months and is now looking like a potential first choice for Gareth Southgate in England's back 3. There's Vaughan at the other end. What's your take on goalkeepers being encouraged to play from the back? It seems to be one of the current trends. The last game I covered was the Cardiff Arsenal game, where Petr Cech made a number of errors, and you got the impression that Cech was not in the least bit comfortable with that mode of play.
No, that's right. I think he's one of those, I guess, last breed of goalkeepers, or remaining few at the moment, who aren't that comfortable, but you can just see it becoming more and more prevalent. I think there's a time and a place, certainly, but there's nothing wrong with going long either. It's just being able to play the right ball. That's the key thing.
Absolutely. Free kick to Liverpool, foul by Moussa Dembele, who has twice in his career scored against Liverpool for Fulham and Spurs, although on both occasions the matches ended up with his side being beaten. Wijnaldum will take the free kick and just roll it back to Virgil van Dijk. Interesting that since Tottenham Hotspur beat Liverpool here in the league last season, only Manchester City have claimed more points than Liverpool, so it was clearly a chastening defeat for Jurgen Klopp's men. The ball is skidded forward by Sadio Mane in the direction of Trent Alexander-Arnold. Gets a little clap of the hands from Jurgen Klopp, but it bounced away and went behind for a goal kick.
Well, James Milner was screaming at him then. He was actually in on the overlap. Should have used him. Mane took one touch too many. Opportunity was lost.
Here's Danny Rose for Tottenham Hotspur on halfway, trying to make progress down the left flank. Tackle is by Naby Keita, although in the eyes of the referee it's a foul by Naby Keita. I was reading an interesting article with him in one of the newspapers today that obviously he's known for quite a while that he was going to be coming to Liverpool, and apparently spent most of his leisure time watching videos constantly of how they played every single game, so that he would slot in comfortably. This is his fourth start for them since arriving. Danny Rose with the cross for Spurs towards Kieran Trippier. Good header by Sadio Mane, who was being bumped by the England fullback. It's a free kick to Liverpool inside their own penalty area. Not too much goal-mouth action since the opening couple of minutes, when Roberto Firmino had a goal ruled out for offside, and then had another chance which was blocked by Alderweireld. Tottenham have settled a little bit without creating very much so far.
No, that was a good move though from Danny Rose. Showed a bit of ability, go down the outside, good ball into the box, but well tracked by Mane on this side. Great defensive header.
Robin Michael Thompson, who's a regular contributor from Brazil, says a throw-in coach helps give distance and accuracy. As you say, it's I suppose it's worth exploring. It's part of the game. It is can be a weapon. We used to remember Rory Delap for Stoke City a few seasons ago.
Yeah,
used to have it with them, and they're difficult to defend, aren't they? Sometimes a very good, accurate long throw, but the fly to the ball is totally different from if you kick it.
Well, that's right. The only thing is you're looking then at just as a long throw, but because you get so many in a game, 30, 40, they're not all long throws. So it's about making the right throw selection, the speed, where the receiver wants it, etc., etc.
Here's Trent Alexander-Arnold. 20 minutes played at Wembley Stadium. Nice little turn by Mo Salah, who we haven't seen very much of, have we? It's the first time we've mentioned him in commentary, really. Firmino and Mane have seen a lot more of the ball than last season's Premier League top scorer. Slightly disappointing World Cup campaign with Egypt. Did manage one goal, but they of course failed to qualify from the group in Russia. Here's Andrew Robertson. Back to Milner, evergreen midfield player. He's got a record number of games for his club that he's scored in without them losing in the Premier League. James Milner, 48. Amazing record. Scored against Crystal Palace in a 2-0 win this season, which brought him to that figure. They've never lost when he's scored. Here's Robertson. Liverpool pushing and probing. Firmino just trying to cut in from the left-hand side. Fans Mane. Clear handball. I don't know what he is complaining about.
I think he put both arms up to say, well, look, it wasn't both arms I handballed it with.
Yeah, it was only my left.
Yeah. But Salah did receive then, just in that passage of play, and just gave it away, trying to be too clever. Maybe that ball inside into Firmino. It's all boxed up because Tottenham are quite narrow. Actually, the space is on the outside. He had the fullback overlapping there. Should have used him.
We'll push forward to Harry Winks. Good to see him back in action. Let's hope he has a good long season after the injury problems that he's been through. Touched by Dembele. Tottenham rather lacked ball. It's come to Salah. Salah with a brilliant chance and saved by Form. Well, it was dreadful play by Tottenham in midfield. The ball just knocked back really carelessly by Eric Dyer, and Salah was onto it like a flash. Got between the two centre halves for Tottenham and Alderweireld. A rising shot, and in the end it wasn't a terribly difficult save for Michel Vorm, but it needed to be made.
Well, what a wasted opportunity. Salah has to do better. If he wraps his foot around that and keeps it low across goal, I'd say it'd be a certain goal. In the end, it's almost easy, comfortable above Vorm. Could have done more, should have done more with that. Mo Salah
scored all three of Liverpool's goals against Tottenham Hotspur last season. Two in an exciting 2-2 draw at Anfield, and another one here where Liverpool were beaten by 4-1. He set the record with 32 goals last season, Salah, for number of goals in a 38-game season in the English top flight. High foot by Trent Alexander-Arnold on his England teammate Danny Rose means that Tottenham Hotspur have a free kick. We're at the midway point in the opening half.
That was really good defending though from Alexander-Arnold. The ball went out wide to Rose. His first touch just was a little bit off. The ball popped up and he was straight onto it. Really good defending. Okay, look, his boot was high, but he actually didn't catch him in the face. I think the ball did, but still.
Tottenham are fortunate that Salah, for once, wasn't as deadly as he normally is, because Eric Dyer created an almighty problem for them. Milner with another good ball forward. Here is Salah again, who's suddenly come into the game, and that's a great ball to Firmino now. Firmino, great covering challenge by Alderweireld. He wanted to flick it across onto his right side and have a crack at goal. Excellent defending by Toby Alderweireld.
Yeah, super play there from Salah. Picks out Firmino, but to me he's gone on the wrong side. He should have taken it down onto his left foot. There really, again, wasn't space in the middle of the park. The space was to go on the outside.
Well, Liverpool have been much the better team. Nothing to show for it yet.
Well, they've definitely had the better opportunities, that's for sure. A look more threatening when the ball has gone into the front.
Forward by Gomez. Salah with a turn. It's nodded away by Vertonghen, who lost sight of the ball in the early afternoon sunshine at Wembley Stadium. Here's Harry Kane, who rather likes Salah. Hasn't had a huge impact on the game so far. He's on the ball here, and the referee belatedly, after trying to play an advantage, will give Tottenham Hotspur a free kick for the foul on Harry Kane. Kane, of course, is the sort of player, as is Salah, who doesn't necessarily have to do too much in a game, but will provide you with a goal more often than not. Milner is protesting with Michael Oliver, but the free kick has been awarded to Tottenham Hotspur in a central position midway inside the Liverpool half.
It's the first time really we saw Eriksen trying to link up with Kane. Whenever Mara gets it though, he looks so bright and lively, really direct, gets his head down, goes forward. It doesn't always set back. He looks in the groove. You can tell he's in confident form.
Here's Harry Winks, left-hand side for Tottenham Hotspur, looking to find Moura. He's been challenged by Milner strongly. Milner's toe poked the ball out of play. Tottenham will go level with Liverpool on 12 points if they win this game. Chelsea and the other team off the Big Six with a 100% record played Cardiff City. Watford, the surprise good starters in the Premier League, entertain Manchester United on what should be an absolutely cracking Saturday afternoon of English football. We'll bring you every kick, every goal through all 380 80 matches in this season. Here's Trippier, does well to find Eriksen. Eriksen right hand side, swirling cross, headed away by Van Dijk. Wijnaldum gets a toe on it, doesn't clear it properly, and Moura picks it up and looks to shoot, finds Harry Kane. Kane trying to find a way through, and on the swivel, Trent Alexander-Arnold gets it away from Harry Kane and puts it out for a throw-in on the far side, which will be taken by Danny Rose.
We just saw Van Dijk there. How important he is, that Liverpool defensive line. Great ball in from Eriksen. There he is, all 6 foot, 4'5", just powering it clear. It's not for the first time. They've got real good height in that defence. It's quite hard to go over them.
Here's Winks finding Rose. Winks went for the return, but it was cut out by Milner, who scoops it forward towards Firmino. Firmino muscled off it by Danny Rose, though, who finds Eric Dyer. Dyer, whose error almost led to a goal for Mo Salah 5 minutes ago, just pushes it back sensibly this time to Vertonghen. Raking crossfield ball by him, finds Trippier. Lovely ball by Trippier to Eriksen, and a brilliant interception by Naby Keita. That really was a wonderful cushioned pass on the volley from Kieran Trippier into the path of Christian Eriksen, and Eriksen found Keita alive to the danger, and it's Tottenham's first corner of the game.
Well, he redeemed himself there, Keita, because Eriksen just ran off him, but what a magnificent move. Wonderful pass, a switch of play, and the layoff from Trippier was sensational. Arguably, though, he could have got the ball in earlier, maybe rolled it across the 6-yard to Kane.
Trippier's corner, outswinger, headed away by Firmino towards the edge of the box. Mane has shoved Eriksen over, and now there is real danger for Liverpool, because Tottenham Hotspur have been awarded a free kick, and it's just a fraction outside the 18-yard box, I would say. A foot, if you like, or 30 centimetres, whichever you prefer. Christian Eriksen has picked himself up and has got the ball in his hands, although it's just to the right of centre. You can see maybe Kieran Trippier with a curling left footer might be the more obvious option. Kane is also there. We know that he can provide fireworks from this sort of situation. So Tottenham, having not really created a chance as yet, have been presented one. Alisson Becker, the Liverpool goalkeeper, who's barely been in the game really, and nothing to do, suddenly has a sturdy looking wall in front of him which features 3 Tottenham players. Trippier's walked away. It's going to be Eriksen with his right foot to try and curl it. And in such form at international level, what can he do for Spurs? It's straight at Alisson, who gets down to his right hand side and gets both gloves around the ball and fields comfortably.
Well, he pulled right there. You could see Lucas Moura is in the wall. He actually ducked, so Eriksen aimed for him, but almost head height, thinking that Alisson would move. He'd done his job well there, Alisson, stayed opposite side to the wall. But I just wonder, Trippier, I'd fancy. Yeah. He's in such good form. His right foot, he can get it up and down. He's got dip and bend. But obviously Eriksen is equally adept.
Yeah,
they've got real quality there.
But I mean, geometry and physics tells you that from that position, the left footer is going to potentially be more potent than a right footer.
Yeah, but I mean, Trippier's still right footed, so I think it was going to be either whoever fancied it the most. I think next time it might be Trippier's turn.
Here's Trippier on the ball now, and plays it back to Vertonghen. Touch for Michel Vorm, who's made the one really significant save of the game so far. That save a moment ago from Eriksen's free kick was the hardest work he's had to do. He might have a bit more here though, because here's Eriksen, right hand side, early ball into the box. It just goes away from Lucas Moura, but it's picked up by Danny Rose. Rose trying to cut it back to Moura. It's a poor ball. Milner intercepts only for a moment. Dyer shoots, it's deflected. It goes wide of the post, and Spurs on almost the half hour have another corner, and their fans just to crank up the volume a little bit, because this has been their best spell of the game.
Well, Eriksen's been really bright. He's playing as that sort of number 10 behind the front two, but he's making really good runs into the channels, especially the spaces vacated by the Liverpool fullbacks. Not for the first time there. He's got in that sort of area, delivered the ball into the box. It's been really dangerous.
Come on, you Spurs. Rings around Wembley Stadium. They have a corner here. There are half a dozen Tottenham players in the box. It's Trippier with an in-swinger. Solid header away by Firmino. Comes down to Rose. Rose clips it out. It's a poor ball. It was the right idea. He was trying to just chip it into the path of Trippier, who'd just taken the corner. But the England man Rose couldn't find the England man Trippier, and another England man, Trent Alexander-Arnold, will take the throw-in. Made his international debut against Costa Rica, went to the World Cup, of course, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and played in the game against Belgium at the end of the group where both teams had already qualified. Only the fourth Englishman to appear in a World Cup as a teenager. Seems a long time ago now, doesn't it? Here's Harry Kane. Ball just bounces beyond him. He tries to win it back and commits a foul, I think, on Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Michael Oliver blows his whistle. Both of these teams, of course, are in Champions League action, courtesy of their third and fourth positions last season. Liverpool have a tough-looking group. They start at Inter Milan on Tuesday, while Liverpool also have very difficult opening game against Paris Saint-Germain, clipped away by Vertonghen from Firmino. 31 and a half minutes gone. Tottenham Hotspur 0, Liverpool 0. You're listening to Premier League Live. If you want to tweet us, it's at TalkSport Live with your comments and observations. Let us know where you're from and what you think of the game. Here's Moussa Dembele finding Harry Kane. Kane with a lovely reverse pass, which is just about read by Andrew Robertson, who finds Sadio Mane for Liverpool. Mane just clipping it down the line. Keita is a willing recipient. Back it comes to Robertson. Again, Liverpool try and break through. Keita to the byline with the cutback with his left foot, but it bypasses Mo Salah. It goes through to Moussa Dembele, who powers forward, the Belgian international, and finds Danny Rose. Rose tries to chip it across to Kane. Backpedaling, Wijnaldum gets the header away for Liverpool.
Rose again. It's another poor pass though from the corner. That time a diagonal to Harry Kane. He's got to do better in possession there, Danny Rose. I just looked at Andrew Robertson though. When Mane received it, he thought, you know what, I'm not going to be able to get around him. He's too quick, so he just supported behind the ball. Got such pace out wide, Liverpool. It's difficult for the fullbacks actually to get up and get around them.
Liverpool have shaded it, certainly on chances they've had more. Tottenham have come more into the game in the last 10 minutes or so. Jurgen Klopp is waving frantically on the far side of the field. Of course, we mentioned Liverpool's woes at Wembley. Klopp is not a stadium Klopp particularly likes. Of course, before he came to Liverpool, his Borussia Dortmund team were beaten here in the Champions League final by Bayern Munich. Late goal by Arjen Robben. Here's Moussa Dembele. Strong run forward for Spurs. Tries to find Moura. Cut out by Van Dijk. Tottenham fans felt Moura got a shove there. Van Dijk's ball just looking for Keita, but teased back to his goalkeeper Vaughan by Vertonghen. Vaughan quickly out to Kieran Trippier. Hasn't perhaps quite been the classic that we anticipated, but it's been a very watchable game.
Well, Dembele done really well there, didn't he? Showed his strength and pace and power. I don't think there's any that can really, or there's not many that can keep up with him once he gets into his stride. There's that ball over the top. They've looked for that a few times. That time Kane, but he doesn't quite have the same burst of speed that Moura does.
Here's Salah. He's giving it away to Christian Eriksen, who's popping up everywhere at the moment. Eriksen to Dyer. It's very congested in centre midfield at the moment. Dembele puts his foot on the ball and finds Winks, and now Rose. Rose through ball is intercepted by James Milner. It's just gone out of play. It's a throw in to Tottenham Hotspur right on halfway in front of the tunnel at Wembley Stadium. The two managers standing either side of Danny Rose. Mauricio Pochettino in a smart dark suit, and Jurgen Klopp rather more casually dressed in a grey Liverpool tracksuit with white trainers. Interesting comment from Gary Neville this week, who's obviously not the most popular man on Merseyside, claiming that Liverpool can only win the title if they forget the Champions League and concentrate solely on domestic issues. Here's Sadio Mane bearing down on goal, still has it, clips it, not enough power. Tried to steer it inside the far post, but it was an easy save in the end for Michel Vaughan. Sadio Mane, who's the Premier League's joint top scorer with Alexander Mitrovic on 4, looking to make it 5 there, but not enough power.
Really good defending here from Alderweireld. Made him go down onto his weaker left-hand side. Excellent. Didn't quite have the power in the shot there, but again, Tottenham guilty of giving the ball away in midfield. I think it was that time it was Dembele. Dyer, Dembele, a couple of times just loose in their own half, sideways, backwards passes. They look much better when they go forward.
Here's Andrew Robertson crossing halfway for Liverpool. 10 minutes to go in the opening half. Still goalless at Wembley. Manu picks it up though for the Reds. Looks around him and just rolls the ball into Robertson, who finds Naby Keita. Here's Mane again. Keita once more hugging the near touchline, forced backwards by the intentions of Dembele. Goes all the way back to Van Dijk. Now it's given away. What's that? That's an attempt on goal, a rather bizarre one from Jan Vertonghen from inside the centre circle, with Anderson not really miles off his line, and he's just tipped it, well, a good way wide of the post. I'm not entirely sure what he was trying to do there. I don't think anyone else inside the stadium does either.
Well, it's good defending initially. Won the ball off Salah, really aggressive. Then he had a front two to go and supply. Instead he tried to shoot from a good, 50 yards probably? Maybe he saw Alisson off his line. He has got a high start position, Alisson, that's for sure, but I don't think that was on.
Here's Firmino finding Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's flipped crossfield, intercepted by Eriksen. Here's Lucas Moura charging forward. Tackle by Robertson is a fair one, says the referee. The Tottenham fans disagree, but play continues. Here's Keita driving forward at pace for Liverpool. That's a decent looking through ball. It's intercepted though well by Vertonghen, who was determined that Salah wasn't going to get to the ball, and he didn't. We've got a listener here in Nepal. That's a new one on me. It's Prayash Koirala. Welcome. It's lovely to have you with us. He hopes this one ends in a draw because he's a Chelsea fan. Well, it is at the moment.
There's no doubt as well, by the end of today we'll be a little bit clearer, won't we? All the big six are playing, unusual, really.
It is.
For all those games, you've got to say, but I think it's quite nice.
Yeah, definitely. It's like a throwback to the old days, isn't it, when we grew up? It's, remember the days when every single game always kicked off at 3 o'clock on a Saturday. No Sunday televised games and all that sort of stuff. Here comes Mane, just driving forward down the inside left. Still as it's Mane tries to square it. It doesn't find its way across to Firmino. Then another poor header by Tottenham. Mane gets a second chance. Vertonghen clears. Tottenham, eventually, you would imagine, if they continue to be as profligate in midfield as they have been, are going to be punished.
Well, they've been guilty numerous times. Now that time Alderweireld trying to pick a pass, it wasn't on. Eriksen then, after a poor pass from Dyer, they look all over the place at times. It's just whether Liverpool can make more of it. It's a bit like the Leicester performance, to be honest, away from home, where they weren't particularly great going forward. And there's been signs of that today. Haven't been clinical enough. Which you wouldn't really say that about Liverpool, but certainly today they haven't been clinical enough. They weren't at Leicester either.
They've got a corner though. Milner punched by Vaughan, not very well, heading away by Dyer, and then clawed away. Did he go over the line from Wijnaldum? It did. Liverpool had the lead. Michael Oliver is pointing at the device on his wrist to suggest that the ball crossed the line before Michel Vaughan clawed it away, and Jorginho Wijnaldum has given Liverpool the lead with 6.5 minutes to go before half-time. Impossible to tell with the naked eye. We're going to have another look at it here on our replay monitor. Oh, it's in. There's no question at all. Michael Oliver has got it absolutely right, and Liverpool have the lead against Tottenham.
Well, it's awful goalkeeping, to be honest. The ball came in, Michel Vaughan didn't get a clear punch on it. I don't know why he tried to punch it. Could he have claimed it? I think so. He probably would have got the foul anyway. Instead, it's barely punch clear. Didn't actually get outside the 6-yard box. There's Wijnaldum, powers it back. To me, Vaughan was slow to get across as well. I'm sure if that was Lloris, I think he would have had the height to deal with that. It's a poor goal from Tottenham perspective.
It's Gio Wijnaldum's first ever away goal for Liverpool. His previous 18 in the Premier League have all come at Anfield. Well, we can talk about VAR and debate that, but I really like goal line technology. It's a clear issue of yes or no. There's no question at all. We looked at it again. The ball had clearly crossed the line. It was so quick as well. Michael Oliver straight away looked at it looks like a watch. It's some sort of signalling device on his wrist, and straight away pointed to the centre circle. It was an absolutely correct decision. Brilliant use of technology. And Liverpool, with 5 minutes to go to half-time, probably have the lead lead they deserve.
Absolutely. Look, Tottenham have been the beneficiaries of one sort of decision themselves. It was just, 9mm over the line, I think, Vertonghen's header against Newcastle. This time, look, that was clear. Brilliant. What you would say is, look, Vorm, he's under a tiny bit of pressure from Van Dijk, but not a lot. And then his punch is so poor, just about gets out the 6-yard box, and then the header back from Wijnaldum, he's straight down his throat. To me, he's got to do better there.
Yeah. Well, Liverpool will take it. They've been helped by technology, they've been helped by Michel Vorm. Milner has now conceded a corner. Well, could Tottenham lose for a second game running? They haven't done that for over 2 years. Lost at Watford, of course, by 2-1. But they have a corner here in the dying embers of the second half, swirled in by Trippier. Good header away by Robertson. Rose with the ball to Winks, who hoists it into the Liverpool area where it's headed away by Van Dijk only as far as Eriksen, who loses it, and the ball is forward towards Mo Salah. Dembele's the last man back for Tottenham and manages to get across to clear. Eriksen has it in the centre, finds Winks, and now Trippier seems to switch flanks at the moment. He's over on the left-hand side. The ball is loose, going backwards towards the Liverpool goal, where Alisson clears it, not particularly well, but he's got away with it. Wijnaldum, the goal scorer, steers the header towards Robertson. Robertson just turns infield beyond Trippier, and there's a bit of space here for Liverpool. It's Trent Alexander-Arnold trying to find Firmino, cut out by Tottenham, and Eric Dyer will try and come forward. Before the goal, Pez said Liverpool are patiently waiting to strike Tottenham like a viper. Nice analogy, and that's exactly what they've done.
Well, they've been so, I think, really disappointing in possession. Tottenham that time, Trippier, good ball into the box. That's why he's out taking corners, but it just means he leaves his left-hand side vacant. Here they are on the attack again.
Well, here's Liverpool looking to get another. It's by Wijnaldum again. He's wasted that. He had 2 opportunities there, one to shoot low towards the corner and one to square it, and he did neither. Really scraped it rather wastefully across the face of goal, a long way beyond the far post and wide.
Well, Harry Winks has just let his man go Wijnaldum that time. If Rose is going to be so high, well, your midfielders have to track the runs into those sort of wide areas. They've had so much joy out there because of how narrow Tottenham are. Your midfielders have got to follow the runners, simple as that. They've got a job to do. They've almost got attracted to the ball there too much, Winks.
Well, Liverpool at the moment heading for 15 points from 5. They've never won their opening 5 games, not just of a Premier League season, but of any season, which perhaps is surprising given the number of times they've dominated title races in the past. 18, only Manchester United have won more, with 20 English titles.
Well, that tells it all. Only 1 attempt on target for Tottenham. Barely threatened the opposition goal. Been poor in possession. There we go. Dyer guilty that time again.
A poor game.
He has. He's looked really off the pace.
He's given the ball away.
He's looked laboured,
yes,
hasn't he?
He hasn't played well at all. One of the players who Maurizio Pochettino brought in today, only one of the changes enforced due to Dele Alli's injury. The other 2 were tactical. Hasn't paid off at the moment. Robertson forward for Liverpool, looking for Salah, who almost got the better of Vertonghen, but Vertonghen managed to keep his head and get the ball away. Liverpool try to come forward again now with Firmino, leaving it for Mane. Dyer nips in and loses it again, but actually to his defence this time. He was being fouled in getting the ball forward, and it'll be a free kick to Tottenham Hotspur. We're in the last minute of the 45. We're having a look on the monitor at Son Heung-min on the bench. He helped South Korea win the Asian Games, and apparently by quirk of some rather strange piece of legislation, if you win an Asian Games you're exempt from military service. All young men are expected to serve 2 years of military service in South Korea, and Tottenham could have been the unwitting victims of that, but it seems that Son Heung-min will not be appearing at a parade ground near you anywhere soon.
Well, it seems like an extreme version of the carrot or the stick, and as it is, he's got the carrot. It's worked, hasn't it?
I imagine he's pretty relieved. I can't imagine it's a barrel of laughs in the army, especially not if you're a high-earning footballer. Wijnaldum tipping the ball forward. It just didn't quite get the pass right. He spotted the gap. He was looking for Mane, and it came off the toe of his boot too quickly, and Vaughan was out to just lash it away. Here's Milner for Liverpool, looking for Salah. We're into just 1 minute of stoppage time to be added on at the end of the opening half, a half in which Liverpool, who started the day as Premier League leaders and are looking to end the day in the same position, have gone the right way about it so far. Gino Wijnaldum's header looping just over the line. 6 minutes before half-time. Michael Oliver blows his whistle. Tottenham Hotspur, who'd won 8 of their previous 9 home games, trailing at the moment to that goal at half-time in this Big Six battle in the Premier League. It is Tottenham Hotspur 0, Liverpool 1. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Premier League football is a truly global game. And
Yes, they've got that familiar front three. Here's Milner over on the right-hand side, clipping a dangerous ball into the box. Touch from Firmino, who scores! No, he doesn't. Thought he had, but he was offside. Liverpool thought they'd got in front. Here come Liverpool again. and it's Firmino again, and this time the ball is deflected behind off Toby Alderweireld. Tremendous start. Touch by Dembele. Tottenham rather lacked ball. It's come to Salah. Salah with a brilliant chance and saved by Form. Touched by Form, not very well, headed away by Dyer, and then clawed away. Did he go over the line from Wijnaldum? It did. Liverpool had the lead. Michael Oliver is pointing at the device on his wrist to suggest that the ball crossed the line before Michel Vorm clawed it away. Well, an exciting end to a match in which Liverpool had the better of the chances with a better team overall, and Tottenham Hotspur can't really have too many complaints about the situation at the moment. What will Pochettino be saying to his Spurs players? They were level against Watford, got the lead and then lost it. Now they're behind at half-time.
Well, I think he'll be giving his troops a rocket, to be honest. They were so poor, especially in the middle of the park in possession. The goal was actually a catalogue of errors, and where to start? They've been really laboured. Liverpool should have put them to the sword. The good thing is, I guess you'd be saying, we're only 1-0 down, we're still in this, because they arguably could be 2 or 3.
And Liverpool will be pretty happy, I would think. I mean, we haven't seen that much from Mo Salah, but overall they've created better chances. It could have been 3-0 up, really.
Absolutely, and in contrast to Tottenham, they've looked really good in midfield. Passed the ball at the back. Van Dijk and Gomez have been really solid. They haven't looked in danger at all. The only problem, I guess, a couple of times has been the runs from Eriksen, which maybe Keita has got to match, but other than that, I mean, yeah, they've been the superior side for the majority of that game, especially chances-wise.
They certainly have. Well, as you mentioned, David, in commentary, all of the big six are playing today, which is unusual. At 5:30, we'll be bringing you full commentary of Watford, like Liverpool, defending a 100% record against Manchester United, who most certainly are not. Let's hear from the two managers, Javi Gracia of Watford and Jose Mourinho.
We can achieve the 5th win in a row. I think it's important because there are 3 points we want to get.
For matches, 12 points. We know that 3 of these matches were at home, so in relation to the 12 points, maybe we can speak about a little advantage, but fantastic start.
I think it's the mentality of the players in this moment. Try to win the next 3 points and playing against United or the next one against Fulham and so on.
The ones that wake up in the morning and the first thing that comes into their minds is Jose Mourinho and Manchester United, I feel sorry for them because there are much more interesting things to wake up and to be happy in the morning than to speak immediately about us and about football.
Do you wake up every morning thinking about Jose Mourinho? I certainly don't.
No, certainly not.
Bizarre, typical Mourinho comment, really. They will play Watford at Vicarage Road. It'll be a fascinating game. That one, we've got our big 3 o'clock kickoff featured game, Newcastle United against Arsenal, with Adam Bridge and the former QPR man Mark Bircham. We'll also bring you all the action from Bournemouth against Leicester City, Chelsea also 100% so far at home to Cardiff, Huddersfield Town against Crystal Palace down at the bottom, and the champions Manchester City up against Fulham. Then tomorrow, Wolves against Burnley, Everton against bottom of the table West Ham United, and on Monday evening, as the action continues, we'll have a South Coast derby of sorts, Southampton against Brighton and Hove Albion. Here at Wembley Stadium, Liverpool have been the better team. If they win this one, they'll go to 15 points, 3 ahead of Chelsea and Watford. And that would be already 6 ahead of Tottenham if Spurs can't get back into this game. Gino Wijnaldum with a looping header which just about crossed the line, giving Spurs their advantage at half-time. We'll be back with the whole of the second half live. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Premier League football is a truly global game, and TalkSport is the global audio partner of the Barclays Premier League.
It's a massive goal!
With live commentary of all 380 matches this season, available at TalkSport.com in English, Spanish or Mandarin every weekend.
What a goal! What a fantastic strike!
The event horizon of world-class football. Visit TalkSport.com to find out more.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered. TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live. Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
A line of bodies along the edge of the 6-yard box. Ericsson just rifles it in, and Harry Kane is there to head in almost on the goal line. More Premier League goals in a calendar year than any other player in history.
Every game is covered. Get involved in debates. Ask in-game questions to our commentary team and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Edge of the box is Solanke. Through to Mo Salah! Who scores? Number 32! Mo Salah, the record breaker for Liverpool!
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league. Premier League Live. Brought to you by TalkSport Live.
Go to TalkSport.com and sign up now to play the free TalkSport Predictor game. Predict the results of the English Premier League games this season for the chance to win top-flight weekly prizes. From the Gunners getting away goals at Anfield to epic finishes at the Etihad. Click TalkSport.com/predictor and register now for the chance to go top of the table in the ultimate football fan tournament. The TalkSport English Premier League Predictor game. Available online and for free at TalkSport.com/predictor.
The Premier League Preview Show with TalkSport.
Sanchez wants runners. There's 6 players on the edge of the area to aim for. One is Smalling! Unbelievable scenes at the Etihad Stadium. It's 3-2 to Manchester United.
TalkSport's Premier League experts give their views ahead of the weekend's action.
We are joined on the preview show to talk about what has happened at the top of the table in the last few days by our former Premier League winger, Matthew Etherington. Adrian Clark's with us. Chris Iwelumo, fresh from the gym.
Subscribe to the podcast today at TalkSport.com and then hear every kick on Premier League Live.
Oxlade-Chamberlain goes down, we still find Salah! Who makes it 2 to Liverpool? 1 chance, 1 goal. Number 20 for the Egyptian magician.
Listen to the show on TalkSport.com.
You're listening to TalkSport's coverage of Tottenham Hotspur against Liverpool from Wembley Stadium. I'm your host, John Anderson. Alongside me is the former West Ham United, Watford and Leicester City striker, David Connolly. This is Premier League Live. Well, Liverpool have never, in their history, perhaps surprisingly ever, started a season with 5 consecutive league wins, but they are halfway towards achieving that goal today. A looping header by Jorginho Wijnaldum, clawed out from under the crossbar by Michel Vorm. The goal line technology showed conclusively that the ball had clearly crossed the line, and as soon as he got that signal, referee Michael Oliver pointed to the centre spot to signal a Liverpool goal. Tottenham staring at a potential back-to-back defeats for the first time since May 2016, and those were end-of-season games. Really, this is a more crucial time perhaps to be avoiding back-to-back defeats, particularly against one of your big 6 rivals at home. But Tottenham, David, really, you could argue to a degree they've been architects of their own downfall. They've been sloppy in midfield, they've constantly given the ball away. Michel Vorm didn't cover himself with glory with the initial punch that led to the header back in from Wijnaldum for the goal, and overall they need to improve massively, don't they?
They do. They've been really poor in possession, not only in midfield but also at the back. Alderweireld, Rose, the distribution at times has been very suspect. I thought Dyer, to be honest, was dreadful. His passing, his defensive header from the Vorm punch, which wasn't clear, but then Dyer's then tasked with responsibility to get it out of the danger zone, so head it out to the side, almost to the sideline, away for a throw, or not, basically back into the 6-yard box, and that's exactly where he put it. It was such a weak header, and that epitomised his first half performance. I thought he was really, really poor. They've got a lot to do here, a lot of work to improve in this second half, because Liverpool look like if they do start functioning a bit better in that final third, they will punish this Tottenham side.
You wouldn't say Liverpool have been great, really, would you? I mean, they played decently. Well, you compared it to the Leicester performance. Typical sort of performance that wins you titles. I know it's absurdly early to be talking about that, but, those kind of scrappy single-goal away wins are the stuff of champions. And, they haven't been brilliant today, but they haven't needed to be, have they?
No, that's right. I mean, look, at Leicester, they were flattering to deceive at times, but they never really looked like conceding, and they were always in control of the game. So you felt that they might nick one or two. Their front three weren't flowing. They weren't maybe at the level of last season. I think a lot of that is to do with the World Cup. A lot of these players have been away. They don't look 100% energetic and alive as such, but I think they're getting there slowly. And if they can still pick up wins while those players are still to reach their peak, I mean, that's an ominous sign for the rest of the league.
I suppose it's both a blessing and a curse, isn't it, to have so many international footballers in your squad. Obviously, they bring the quality, but as we mentioned, of all the 20 clubs in the Premier League, no two sides had more minutes from their players in the international break that's just gone than Liverpool and Tottenham Hotspur. Liverpool look a little fresher than the Tottenham players who represented their countries last week.
Yes, and look, this is a big run of games. Liverpool have got, I think, 7 games in 20 odd days, so I imagine we will see the bench being utilised maybe a little bit later today. It is a hot day, so there might be that as a fatiguing factor. Look, Davinson Sanchez arguably isn't playing because he was obviously in Colombia Wednesday night, and it looks like they're playing at the back really as if they want to play in a 3. They don't look totally happy there in the 2. They're exposed at times in the fullback areas, and it looks like Liverpool, if they don't punish them again, I think they'd have been very fortunate to get out of this, maybe just conceding 1 goal.
Well, Jurgen Klopp is already sitting in his seat in the dugout as the Tottenham players come out for half-time. Liverpool were out earlier than Spurs. I'd imagine Klopp's half-time oration was a little less frenetic than that, perhaps, of Mauricio Pochettino, who was critical of his players against Watford. He said something along the lines of the fact that they thought, we've beaten Manchester United 3-0, we're bound to win here, and of course underestimated Javi Gracia's Hornets, who punished them with a 2-1 win. They're a goal down here, Tottenham Hotspur at half-time, at the home of English football, and the home of Tottenham Hotspur for the foreseeable future, with the problems surrounding the construction of their new stadium, and they get us underway for the second half. They've been drawn actually against Watford in the League Cup, a game which they have home advantage, but because the stadium isn't finished and Wembley is not available either, it'll be played at Milton Keynes Dons, which is about 40 miles north of where most Tottenham fans live. That hasn't gone down particularly well either. In fact, Watford suggested it should have been played at Vicarage Road. But anyway, here's Lucas Moura, who's been quiet after his sensational August campaign. Harry Winks tries to flick it in, a little bit casual, and knocked away by Liverpool. Back to Vertonghen. No changes by either coach at half-time. So Spurs have Michael Vorm in goal, a back 4 of Kieran Trippier, Toby Alderweireld, Jan Vertonghen and Danny Rose. The midfield is a diamond. Eric Dyer, Harry Winks, Moussa Dembele and Christian Eriksen, the 2 strikers. Lucas Moura and Harry Kane. 5 goals between them this season, but not much of a chance for either to add to that tally today. Liverpool have Alisson in goal. The back 4 is Trent Alexander-Arnold, Virgil van Dijk, Joe Gomez and Andrew Robertson, largely untroubled, it has to be said. The midfield 3, James Milner, the skipper today, Gio Wijnaldum, the goal scorer, and Naby Keita. Then up front, the familiar 3, Sadio Mane, Roberto Firmino had a goal disallowed inside the first minute, and Mo Salah, who has been the quietest of the 3 Liverpool front men, really.
Well, I'll be interested actually looking at Tottenham, where they are still playing a 4. Dyer is very, very deep. I think they might still be playing 4 at the back, but I just wondered whether they would change.
That's a mistake by Gomez. Moura is in. It's Lucas Moura for Spurs, and again the cover is good. Van Dijk has got his young defensive partner out of jail there. Terrible touch by Gomez. Moura alive to it, using his pace to get forward, and again, rather like Mane in the first first half. He tried to shift the ball across from one foot to the other, and in doing so, he allowed a defender, this time Van Dijk, to get in and clear. At the other end, it's Sadio Mane for Liverpool, trying to get to the byline, shadowed by Dembele, finds Robertson. Robertson's cross is overhead, and actually clipped the top of the bar there. It's still in play. Trent Alexander-Arnold crosses, and Jan Vertonghen heads behind. Explosive start to the second half.
Brilliant start here from end to end. Great ball here from Robertson. I think he's aiming to pick out the back post area. He actually hits the post or hits the crossbar. Alexander-Arnold then on the overlap, one inside the corner. We've only had 3 minutes of the second half, and had opportunities at both ends. I don't think that was intentional at all by Robertson. He didn't intend to score, but he almost did. Instead, Liverpool have a corner. James Milner will take it. It's an outswinger. Comes out to Keita, who hits it on the volley. Hasn't yet scored, of course, for his new club since joining them from RB Leipzig. That volley was well intentioned and looping, but fairly straightforward for Michel Vorm, who won't look back at that goal incident with any great pleasure. A slapped cross which allowed Wijnaldum to head home. Gomez, having made that mistake, tries to play it forward to Mo Salah. It's tidied up by Danny Rose for Tottenham Hotspur. Spurs have the harder, you suspect, of the two groups that these teams will be involved in the Champions League. Barcelona, Inter Milan and PSV Eindhoven. Here's Mo Salah coming forward for Liverpool. Edge of the box, rolls it in towards Mane, who turns and shoots. Good save by Vorm, and then flicked away by Spurs. Mo Salah initiating the move, and again Tottenham ragged in midfield. The ball played in towards Mane, who turns really quickly, swiveled in a left foot shot. Vorm saved well. Yeah, that time though dreadful from Dembele. Gave the ball away in midfield. That time Salah, right decision, picked that Mane, super little turn. And swivel, arguably could he have played Keita in? I think it might have been a better pass. Here we go, Dembele loses the ball, dwells on it. Salah onto it like a flash. Two centre halves completely exposed. Great little pick up though to Mane, super little turn. But look, could he have made Keita in? I think he could have. Well, how many times have Tottenham Hotspur given the ball away in central areas? And almost every time it's happened, Liverpool have sprung and looked like scoring. Well, the problem is that the two fullbacks go so high, they just leave the two centre halves so isolated. Here's Moura. He's got the better of Gomez. Edge of the box, Lucas Moura! He's put it wide. Tottenham's best chance by a long, long way. Moura wriggling and shimmying his way into the box, getting past Gomez comfortably. Tried to cut it back inside the near post, but put it wide off the base of that post on the outside and behind. Well, he's been electric in possession today, Moura. Brilliant little shift and shoot. Could he have gone the far post? Oh, he tried to reverse it and be clever. He has looked the man most likely though today. Yeah, no question about that. 5 minutes gone in the second half. It's brought the Tottenham fans to life, that's for sure. He's been their best player this season. 3 goals already for him, including 2 at Old Trafford. He almost had one at Wembley. Here's Keita for Liverpool, who's managed to give it away to Winks, but to his credit, managed to win it back. Eriksen claims possession for Spurs. Rose drives it forward, sprints on between Gomez and Moura. This time Gomez wins it and finds Alisson, who puts his foot on the ball and wants to play it. Yeah, but it's not as if he doesn't look panicked, does he, by the mistake against Leicester? He's looked pretty sure-footed, literally, hasn't he? It's been a frenetic opening in the second half, really end to end. But Rose again, I think he's been really poor for Tottenham at the back. He's giving the ball away far too often. I mean, if you are going to get the ball wide and they are your spare players in this formation, they've got to be able to use it better. Man of the match winner for England against Switzerland up at Leicester on Tuesday. Well, he's been in and out of the Tottenham team and didn't have a great game against United. On the bench against Watford. It's been a very, very positive start from both teams, really, to the second period. I just wonder, though, whether he might just need to put his fullbacks in a little bit tighter. They're too high for me on the turnover. Those spaces are going to be exploited, you feel, by Liverpool. They should have done in the first half, arguably could have done again in the second. Well, Tottenham
They need to get a grip on the game. They need to sort out midfield. Perhaps fortunate not to be trailing by more. Liverpool have had several good chances. The ball's gone out of play on halfway. Liam Dempsey says thanks for the quote about Mourinho. He says it's sad for anyone who wakes up thinking about him. Not sure who does that outside of his own family. I would agree. I think the special one tag has lost its lustre. Actually, the Tottenham fans were gleefully singing at Old Trafford, weren't they, when they went 3-0 up, "You're not special anymore." But anyway, we're not watching Manchester United. We'll be bringing you that game at Vicarage Road later on this afternoon. 5:30 kick-off local time. Watford will fancy they can win that, I would think. Here's Van Dijk coming forward for Liverpool, who will want a second goal certainly to just give them a bit more breathing space, because with Harry Kane in the opposition ranks, you never know. Here's Mane! Oh, it's off the post and it's gone in! Vormer's lost it. The ball scrambled over the line by Roberto Firmino. Liverpool have doubled their lead, and on the horrible scrappy goal in which Vorm didn't cover himself with glory, Mane's ball bounced off the post. Vorm couldn't clutch it, and as the ball broke loose from no more than an inch, Roberto Firmino puts Liverpool 2-0 up at Wembley Stadium.
Well, it's nothing less than they deserve, Liverpool. They've been sensational. Robertson knows at the heart of this. What a ball from the fullback in behind for Mane. Great ball across the box, but Vorm again, to me, was at fault for the first goal. He's all over the place here, slow to react off the post. He could have got both hands on it, went through both of them. There's Firmino 1 yard away, pops in the box, 2-0.
I think you're being generous with a yard. It was more like 2 inches. Right along the goal line. It was a deflection by Vertonghen. It initially came off the post. Now Vorm is going backwards, but he should get both gloves around it. It's got between his hands, and Firmino, well, he absolutely simply could not miss. It's his second goal of the season, and his first ever against Tottenham Hotspur on his 5th appearance against the club. And what it has done is sent Mauricio Pochettino slumping back into his chair, contemplating back-to-back defeats for Spurs.
Well, look, if it's not working at half-time, to me, the diamond wasn't working. They were conceding far too much ground out wide. The two centre-halves were exposed at will. I think he should have changed to a 3. Gone to a back 3, brought his full-backs, his wing-backs back a bit narrow. Don't give those spaces out wide. As it was, that was the error of Robertson here, and that's where all their troubles come from, Tottenham.
Kane's given it away to Alexander-Arnold. Here's Milner. Liverpool tidying up nicely in midfield. You can't begrudge them a 2-0 lead. They've been the better team. They've had better chances.
Oh, it could be 4 or 5.
Yeah, they've finally taken one. Probably the easiest goal Roberto Firmino will ever score in his career. But once again, you have to question mark massively Michel Vorm's part in that. He just seemed to be unable to twist his body and grab the loose ball. And to his horror, Firmino was lurking to tap home. Liverpool, it seems, are heading to an historic situation. We've mentioned it before. They have never in their history started a league campaign, Premier League or otherwise, in the top flight with 5 successive wins. It looks like that's going to be the celebration tonight for the visiting fans, but there's plenty of time for Spurs at least to get back. We've only had 10 minutes of the second period.
I just wonder, was Rose selected instead of Ben Davies maybe, to negate that threat of Salah? I don't know, but it just hasn't worked today. The two fullbacks have been way too high, left the centre-halves exposed. I don't think you can do that against the front three of Liverpool. They're just too good.
Tottenham have a corner. If they can grab a goal from somewhere, it would help. Rose sees his corner headed away. Ericsson just slides it back towards Kieran Trippier. It's not a very good ball. And in the end, Tottenham, from having had a corner at one end, the ball is at the feet of Michel Vorm, dressed all in, what would you call it, mauve violet. He hasn't had a good afternoon. The stand-in goalkeeper Hugo Lloris injured. Vorm in for the second match, and of course on the losing side against Watford last time out, and 2-0 down here, and both goals you could argue might have been prevented had he done better.
Well, there's no doubt that he's fine with the ball at his feet, but the 2 times he's had to use his hands, really, the corner where he punched and he could have claimed, and even when you punch it, you've got to clear it out of the danger, and that time he reacted so slowly, could have got both hands on it, and he got none.
Yes, Alderweireld driving it long for Spurs towards Moura. That's an easy claim for Alisson, who really, other than a couple of fairly straightforward saves in the first half, has had little or nothing to do. Liverpool, of course, conceded a goal sloppily with Alisson's mistake against Leicester City. They've looked more solid today. Certainly the goalkeeper's footwork has been better. The two managers pacing their technical areas with hugely contrasting emotions at the moment. Jurgen Klopp is smiling. Maurizio Pochettino has a furrowed brow. Here's James Milner for Liverpool. Manages to squeeze it through to Mane. Mane's ball in field is inaccurate and picked up by Winks, who presents it to Liverpool, but the loose touch sees Tottenham back in possession with Winks again, trying to spread it away to the far side. He's picked out Kieran Trippier. Firmino can't get a toe on it, and eventually Firmino does well, but Trippier out-muscles him, gets the ball in dangerously to the near post. Kane was there, but so too was Alisson, and the Brazilian goalkeeper managed to clutch before Tottenham's talismanic skipper and scorer could get a touch.
Well, it was a brilliant ball in, just half a yard too close maybe to Alisson. Better though from Tottenham. First time they really strung a few passes together. You have to say, for a home performance, it's been really disappointing. Liverpool, they've been excellent.
Alexander-Arnold driving the ball forward towards the speedy Mane, who gets there. Mane into the penalty area, just tries a little back heel which doesn't come off, but does find Trent Alexander-Arnold eventually. Here's Mane again.
But look at where the centre-half is. The centre-half out's wide in the full-back area, but Tongan, that's where Rose should be. They're all over the place, Tottenham.
Tongan's done well. The whistle has blown. What has Michael Oliver given him? He's given a free kick to Liverpool, you know. Ericsson is protesting. But the referee, who has had 2 big decisions to make today and has got them both absolutely right. One, disallowed goal for Liverpool early on with Mane under the new rules clearly offside. 2, correctly pointing to the centre spot after the ball had cleared the goal line from Wijnaldum's header. Eric Lamella's going to come on for Tottenham Hotspur to replace Moussa Dembele in the first substitution of the game. Lamella making only his second appearance of the season. He's had a hamstring injury, the Argentine international. Liverpool have a free kick near side. Milner swirls it in. Van Dijk is up. It's not clear. Van Dijk gets there, and this time Vorm did too, diving bravely at the feet of the fellow Dutchman and grabbing the ball. Van Dijk got a touch initially.
It wasn't clean though, was it? Vorm did collect it, but spilled it and then had to quickly recover. I just wonder where Lamella will play here.
He's playing a central midfield role at the moment. The ball playing up towards Danny Rose. He's had a Rose and Dyer, both of whom played quite well for England against Switzerland, have not played well today.
Pochettino, look, he turns away in disgust. He knows that he's trying to say, look, just calm down, you've got time, but Rose has looked devoid of confidence today. I think the crowd are getting on him. It's a really poor display.
Felix Boansi says, I thought Karius was a bad keeper, but Vorm is something else. Listening in Beach FM in Ghana. Takoradi. Yeah, well, Liverpool, of course, have loaned out Loris Karius. We have Simon Mignolet in the frame as a substitute keeper today. Vorm hasn't covered himself in glory. The mistakes have been his...
What a tackle from Joe Gomez. That is fantastic.
Was a fantastic tackle by the young England defender, getting across, using his weight and his timing to perfection. Mora's hurt his ankle. It was definitely a clean tackle, no question about that.
Look how quickly though he covers the ground, because Mora is electric, but look, Gomez gets there first. Brilliant tackle. We saw that against Leicester, covered ground so well.
Might have gone to the World Cup, Gomez, but for an injury, but clearly now is a player player who Gareth Southgate understandably rates extremely highly. He's had a magnificent start to the season. 61.5 minutes gone. Tottenham 0, Liverpool 2.
Well, that whole back four have been really good today. They were a little bit nervy at times against Leicester. Not quite as good in possession as they have been today. They look back on it though, that's for sure.
Well, they've only conceded one goal all season. That, to be honest, was sort of nightmare goal that was down to the goalkeeper who's got his hands on the ball at the moment, Alisson. So arguably the back four haven't been responsible for any goals that have gone in for Liverpool so far.
And the good thing is, I think from that Leicester game, although it was a monumental error, it didn't cost them. No. And he's definitely learned from that today. He's not taking as many chances. If it's not on, he's cleared his lines. His distribution actually has been excellent.
It has. Clean sheets against West Ham, against Palace, against Brighton, so far against Tottenham Hotspur. Now that we've got the first goal, finds Robertson. Now Van Dijk, his arrival seems to have galvanised Liverpool defensively. Virgil van Dijk, of course, he scored that winning goal in the Cup on his debut against Everton, which always will endear you to a Liverpool crowd. Here come Liverpool again, and there's huge guts here with Mane. Still has it. Sadio Mane. Chance for three. Good save. It was hit by Naby Keita. Side foot rising effort, and Michel Vorm managed to push it up over his crossbar. But how exposed were Tottenham at the back there? Well, 3-on-2.
Sorry, magnificent move there, John. Right from Alisson all the way to the other end. You just wonder though, 3v2. Should he have gone to Keita on his left foot? I don't think it was the right pass selection. I think he maybe should have just gone himself. Arguably could have released a lot earlier, but when he didn't, maybe just take it on. I think Klopp saying, why didn't you just shoot yourself?
Yeah. Well, a third goal would have killed Tottenham off, surely. As it is, it might still come because they have a corner.
But the move, you have to say, right from the back, go through midfield, Gomez at the heart of everything.
Yeah. They've been good, Liverpool, certainly second half. They've been dominant again. Mo Salah's corner, headed away at the near post by Danny Rose. It'll come out to Naby Keita, who had that chance a moment ago, which was, to his credit, well saved by Michel Vorm. The two number 8s tussling. Harry Winks of Tottenham wins it. Naby Keita, of course, is wearing number 8, the number famously worn by Steven Gerrard. Liverpool coming forward again, and Virgil van Dijk has stayed up, hooks it in towards Firmino. Firmino out-muscles Dyer and still has it. Firmino finds Salah. Salah on the near side of the penalty area for Liverpool. To Firmino, back to Salah. Salah can't quite get the ball under control. It rolls past his toe and goes through to Michel Vorm. But Liverpool, well, if I was a Tottenham fan, I'd be worried at the moment because Liverpool look as if they're in the mood to get a third.
They do. You can hear the sort of Wembley woe coming out in a minute. The fans aren't happy.
Oh, but here's Ericsson finding Kane. He can get a goal from nowhere, as we've seen so often. Moura to Rose. Rose pushes it down the line to Harry Kane. Kane just delays his cross under pressure from Milner. Eventually plays a diagonal ball to Lucas Moura. Moura trying to tease it down the channel towards Trippier, but it was always too far ahead of the England fullback, and Moura walks away shaking his head.
Well, what I've liked about Liverpool today, just looking at Keita, something maybe they haven't had in a little while. If they do play with a defensive midfielder, for example, Wijnaldum, as those two, do they have those two attacking midfielders that can actually get up and support? So they've got the front three who are obviously really quick and athletic, but in Keita, he's actually always up there as an attacking threat, so he breaks that line, he can get up and down, he's got a real engine on him. I think he's added a lot to this Liverpool side.
He has indeed. Played really well for Red Bull Leipzig, part of that group that also own Red Bull Salzburg, and of course he played for them. He won 2 titles in Austria, still only 23. He looks an outstanding acquisition for Liverpool, mind you, at 52.75 million. You'd probably expect it to be. Tottenham's spending in the summer 0, whereas Liverpool spent rather more. £252 million against absolutely nothing, and unfortunately for Mauricio Pochettino it's beginning to show, and for Daniel Levy. But here comes Spurs with Lamela trying to cut it back. It'll be hit by Ericsson towards Kane, who got a touch on it. The ball has stayed in play. It's Danny Rose blocked by Salah. The ball bounces out out of the penalty area. Rose under pressure from Salah goes down. Referee says throw in, not free kick to Tottenham, but that was a chance, and Lamela on as a substitute almost created something there.
He did. Just looking at Keita, I just praised him, but actually defensively he's got to make sure he tracks his runners. I've said that a couple of times now. Going forward, brilliant, but actually defensively, you know, he's got to stay with his men. Winks in the first half, that time Lamela.
Brought in by Ericsson, was just behind Harry Kane. He got his heel to it, but he's never going to steer it goal-wise. Goal-wards, I should say. Now then, Michael Ollie's having a word with James Milner and Trent Alexander-Arnold. About what? I'm not entirely sure. He's called the Liverpool captain over. Milner is making one of those pleading gestures as if to suggest that he hasn't got a clue what Michael Oliver is talking about, but fair play to the referee. He's been very, very good today.
He has.
He's made the big calls. The big calls have been called absolutely right. Here's Firmino, scorer of Liverpool's second goal, trying to release Salah. Needs to be timed well. The tackle by Alderweireld, and it was. And as the ball popped up, it hit Mo Salah's outstretched right hand, and it's a free kick to Tottenham Hotspur, who take it quickly. Midway point in the second half. Tottenham Hotspur 0, Liverpool 2. Liverpool looking as if they're going to make it 15 points out of 15. What a start to the season they've had. This, as we mentioned, with respect to the other teams that they've faced this season, was the first big test, and at the moment they're passing it with flying colours.
Absolutely, they just so much pace. When they lose it, they get it back, hunt it around quickly. Spurs look laboured, poor, trying to get on their back. Going to make a change here though. Liverpool looks like Henderson will be coming on.
He's getting sorted out behind Jurgen Klopp as the free kick is taken by Liverpool in towards Firmino, who finds Mane. Mane clips it into the box. Milner's made a good run and controls it and finds Firmino. Firmino with a nice turn. He's got two Tottenham defenders to try and negotiate. Still can't find room for a cross, and then slips it through to Robertson. Robertson's through ball is intercepted by Jan Vertonghen. And finally Tottenham bring the ball away with Lamela. Mane's just a little bit too aggressive in trying to win it back. Another thing about this game is that it hasn't been particularly niggly or dirty. Lucas Moura finds himself in an offside position. That was hasty from Tottenham, wasn't it? They just belted the free kick forward, and Moura was clearly offside.
Yeah, they're ruffled, that's for sure. The feathers are ruffled, not really playing their usual way. I've seen them hit too many long balls today, not really the Tottenham that I've come to see. Far too keen to get the ball forward. Often over here, it's gone through to Alisson in goal.
Wijnaldum chipping it away towards Alexander-Arnold. Milner with a volleyed, hoisted ball forward. Underneath it is Vertonghen. Might drop for Salah, but instead Dyer is there to tidy up. Vorm clears right-footed straight down the middle, headed away by Gomez. It's a good header too. It's found Keita, who leaves it for Robertson. Here is Keita on the ball now. He's looked every inch. Player who fits into the Liverpool system, Naby Keita. Milner forward. It's a decent looking ball. Firmino chasing. Down goes Jan Vertonghen. Now Firmino's gone down holding his face. I hesitate to say this really, but Firmino is not the sort of player to whom amateur dramatics are unknown.
I just wonder if he's got his arm across him here. Maybe he's caught him in the eye. I think he's just swept. Yeah, he's just swept his arm around.
He flicked it.
I mean, it's not a natural thing. What he's done there, Vertonghen,
his cross, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's sort of clawed at him.
Might have got a finger in the eye. That's why I'm doing him a disservice. Jordan Henderson is about to come on. Looks like Naby Keita has had an excellent game for Liverpool. He's going to come off. We'll give you confirmation of that in just a moment. Kevin Friend is the fourth official having a conversation with Jurgen Klopp at the moment as Henderson stripped and ready. It's going to come, actually, yes, there's a little cut just below Firmino's eye. It looks like he's been caught by Vertonghen's fingernail.
Well, they did
tussle for the ball.
Yeah, it was a tussle, but I think Vertonghen's left hand has come across, which is he's left-footed. He's probably left-handed. I don't know. That's his strongest arm, and he's almost
swept it across.
Yeah,
Firmino is just being looked at by the Anfield medical staff. I think that's why the substitution is being delayed, because if he has to come off injured, it's possible that Jurgen Klopp might think again. Son Heung-min is certainly going to come on for Tottenham Hotspur. They've missed him. He's been in Indonesia, in Jakarta, in sultry, humid weather, helping South Korea win the Asian Games trophy. It's an under-23 competition, but he was one of the overage players. They beat Japan in the final. And probably more important to him than the winner's medal was the note saying you won't have to do any military service.
Well, I think what they'll have to do is get back into winning games for Tottenham, and I just wonder how they'll play now, because Lucas Moura has been electric when he's got the ball. He just maybe hasn't had the ball enough, so I can't see him really coming off, and if he did, I think they'd lose that attacking impetus. Kane obviously won't. I just wonder where Son's going to fit in here.
Klopp, I think, is having a very, very animated discussion with Kevin Friend about the incident with Firmino. He certainly caught him around the eye area. Yeah, he's got a cut just on the bridge of his nose. He's got a cut on his cheek, and obviously his eyes are watering quite heavily. Jordan Henderson at the moment is ready to come on. Son Heung-min is definitely going to come on for Tottenham Hotspur, and he's going to replace Harry Winks in Mauricio Pochettino's second alteration of the game. Son, who scored 18 goals last season, hasn't actually scored in his last 10 for Spurs. Prior to that, he got 7 in 4 games. Play is continuing with Firmino dabbing his left eye with a tissue as Tottenham Hotspur, with Son Heung-min on the right hand side, plays the ball infield to Dyer. Here's Eriksen. Eriksen's been strangely ineffective today, hasn't he? As most of the Tottenham players have.
So he's just struggled to get on the ball in that role behind the front two.
Over the top it goes, headed away by Robertson, only as far as Harry Kane. Kane wants a handball, he'll get it. It just came down off Gino Wijnaldum's hand, and eventually, after a bit of prevarication, Jordan Henderson will enter the fray for Liverpool. Left out from the start today. Firmino is the man who's gone off, probably a precaution. I hope he's okay, because any kind of eye injury is obviously something that has to be treated very seriously indeed. Meanwhile, Tottenham Hotspur trailing by 2 goals to nil, and with only 16 and a half minutes left to put it right, although there will be a chunk of stoppage time after that incident, have a free kick. And they do have a genuine left-footed player here in Lamela who will curl it in, but the Liverpool wall did its job. It was a fairly lacklustre delivery by Lamela in truth. The ball is still in play far side with Trippier, who finds Eriksen. Here's Vertonghen for Spurs. They're going backwards all the time. Good pressing by Liverpool, and that's been one of the features of the game, is that Tottenham, quite often, that was a free kick. Prior to that, they had a corner. They end up with the ball at Michel Vorm's feet within seconds.
Absolutely.
Liverpool pressing hard.
And look at Dyer, every time he's received that last couple of passes at least, if not the few before, he's gone backwards first time. They want him to open out and play forward. They're 2-0 down. They need to go forward here, Tottenham.
Here's Son. And he's going backwards under pressure from Milner. Finds Dyer once more. The ball crosses the halfway line in the opposite direction that Tottenham would want it to in their own possession. And again, Mane snapping away at Dyer, and the ball squirts out of play right outside the tunnel with 15 minutes to go.
Well, look, it hasn't taken much pressure to actually force a mistake from Dyer today, and he's complaining there that maybe the ball to him wasn't the best, which it wasn't, because he had his back to goal, but the pass before that he could have played forward, and then they actually wouldn't have ended up with the ball at the back.
Xherdan Shaqiri, who joined Liverpool from Stoke City, is warming up for Liverpool. Played for Switzerland against England in midweek. That's not a very good ball by Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's got away with it though. Gomez picks it up and rolls it down the line. There's no one there. It's a long, long way in front of Mo Salah, and Danny Rose will just clip it back to Michel Vorm. I'm sure Mauricio Pochettino will be hoping that Hugo Lloris recovers from his thigh injury, although it could be a couple of weeks. I suspect it'll be Vorm in goal for the visit to Inter Milan in midweek. Here's Trippier, far side for Spurs on halfway. Square ball infield to Dyer. Dyer pokes it back to Tongan, who does well to control it, but then plays a poor ball. It hits Dyer in the face as it was knocked back by Liverpool. Dyer's gone down, and Michael Oliver will stop the game because that's a head injury to Eric Dyer, albeit it doesn't look a terribly serious one. He just took a clearance foot in the face as it was knocked through midfield.
But there's plenty, I think, as Pochettino goes to sit back down for him to ponder. They weren't very good last week. There's been a similar performance this week. Liverpool, in contrast, you wondered, if this was their first big test. And actually, as you said earlier, they've come through it with flying colours, 2-0. Could have been 3 or 4, if not more by now. Very, very accomplished away performance.
Really troubled, have they, at the back? Tottenham fans are looking utterly distraught, just staring across the pitch with blank faces. We've all been there as football fans, haven't we? Just sitting there. I think what those faces tell you is that not only are they disappointed, but I don't think they can see a sense that Tottenham are going to find a way back. I think it's a despairing face rather than just a disappointed face.
I just wonder whether Davinson Sanchez is maybe on the bench because obviously he had a long week, a long way away with Colombia, but would they have suited a back three better today? I think it might have been a bit too brave going with the four, the two fullbacks high against this Liverpool front three who are so electric. They've got so much pace to hurt you. They've just left certain areas exposed.
Klopp is still involved in a conversation with Kevin Friend, albeit one which, judging by their facial expressions, is a little bit more convivial than the previous one was. Liverpool have a free kick a couple of yards inside the Tottenham half as Eric Dyer, having brushed off the problems with that head injury, comes back onto the field. Jordan Henderson back on the field for Liverpool as a sub. Finds Gomez, who tries to get it across to the far side. It's just about being kept in by Robertson. Here's Van Dijk. Well, I'd imagine Virgil van Dijk and Joe Gomez will be probably discussing tonight that they've had a fairly easy afternoon, considering they're up against the likes of Eriksen and Kane and Moura, who's in great form, and Dembele. They really haven't had a particularly strenuous afternoon, have they?
Well, no, but they're not up against a winger. That's the whole point. They're up against two fullbacks who are a little bit deep. They're not playing as wing-backs today, so they haven't actually got a direct opponent. The only problem they've got, the two Liverpool fullbacks, is actually when the ball does go to the fullbacks, the Tottenham ones. Right now,
here's Lamela. He might offer a little bit of width, trying to get on that left foot. He flicks the ball forward, it brushes off Milner, who then puts it away with his right foot out of play. Tottenham Hotspur have a throw in about 25 yards from the Liverpool goal. Alisson wearing all green, the much maligned Liverpool goalkeeper, of that mistake against Leicester, has had another one who's had a pretty comfortable afternoon. Very, very little for him to do. He's made the odd routine save, but he really hasn't been tested very much at all. Here's Rose for Spurs. Trying to go around the outside. Milner does well. No sign of James Milner ageing, is there, whatsoever? He'll be 33 in early January. Just keeps going and keeps going. And he's had an absolutely fantastic career. And as if to illustrate that, our monitors has provided some graphics saying that James Milner has covered more ground than anyone else in the game. Frankly, that's not a surprise, is it?
Well, that was teed up perfectly for you there, John.
Yeah. Oh, now here's Milner trying to tee it up perfectly for Liverpool. Coming forward, finds Mo Salah. Salah inside the Tottenham box, wants to shoot, does shoot. Good save by Form. Out it comes towards Mane, who couldn't really get hold of the loose ball. Salah turns away disappointingly. A left foot swirler, and Form equal to the task as Liverpool look for a third.
Well, again, Tottenham guilty of losing the ball in their own half. Salah, as you like to see him, coming inside, super strike, fairly comfortable though. To me, though, Vaughan could have caught that. It wasn't actually in the corner that much. Look, it's fairly central, down his throat. It's a poor parry as well, straight back to Mane arguably could have done a bit better.
Yeah, tipped it out. That's the main thing for Tottenham at the moment. Robertson forward, nice ball as well. Here's Mane, and there's a break down the flank with Wijnaldum. Mane, no shot. Easy save for Vaughan this time. Got down sharply as Mane rather underhit it, but with 9 minutes to go, you can only see another Liverpool goal really, because Tottenham have just been overexposed so often at the back and in midfield.
Well, they're at 6s and 7s at the minute. Spurs.
This is Moura. One man who might be able to do something for them given his current form. Finds Son. It's the start of the season for him. Dyer, clever ball. Kane's there. Did he keep it in? Well, he did, but he's put it out on the far side. He prevented it from going behind initially, but he's conceded a throw. We're going to get another couple of substitutions. Daniel Sturridge is coming on for Liverpool. He's on the threshold of a big landmark, actually. Sturridge, if he scores today, it'll be his 50th Liverpool goal. Meanwhile, Spurs are bringing on Victor Wanyama, who's not renowned for his attacking qualities. Naby Keita is coming off for Liverpool to allow Sturridge to come on. Wanyama is on for Tottenham Hotspur in place of Eric Dyer, who's had an afternoon to forget.
He's got his head bowed there. He looks really disappointed. He's been as poor as I've seen him today, Eric Dyer. He really has. Middle of the park, he's gone back too often, given possession away. His body position has been all wrong to receive. His confidence has drained away at each mistake he's made. I think that's a sign of the time, Julian, that Wanyama's come on. Direct replacement when they need a goal.
Danny Rose forward to Lucas Moura. Tottenham running out of time. Moura's ball is a poor one. It's intercepted by Gomez. Clever ball out of defence as well to find Salah. And again, as soon as Liverpool get on the front foot, you fear for Tottenham. That's a really good ball to Salah. Salah inside the Tottenham box, one way then the other, tries to shoot. It's a weak one. It's blocked by Alderweireld, who just scoops it away towards Moura, but he's given it away now. Now Milner, interception by Rose, and Moura will put his foot on the ball. You just get the impression that Mo Salah is absolutely desperately keen to score, isn't he? Nothing else on his mind but trying to carve out space for a shot. In the end, the shot was weak. Milner's won it again for Liverpool in midfield. Here's Salah again, coming forward for Liverpool. He gets beyond Rose, still no Salah. Tries again to curl it in. To be honest, there weren't too many options, but I think Klopp is saying to him, can you pick your head up and have a look instead of just going for glory? Because I think Wijnaldum it was who'd arrived and looked across at Salah as if to suggest that he might have been a better option.
Well, this time though for Tottenham is Wanyama losing the ball in the middle of the park. It doesn't matter really what changes he makes at the moment. Pochettino sort of catching. I guess for Liverpool, yes, as you say, Salah looks desperate for a goal.
Here's Son finding Lamela. If Tottenham can get something, it'll give them heart. It's Lamela! Well, that's as close as they've come, really. They've had a couple of shots wide, one from Lucas Moura and now one from Eric Lamela. Son just setting up the Argentine substitute. Edge of the penalty area, just left-footed, but scrapes it wide of the post.
Nice powder puff strike for me. Super little turn though from Son. Lovely little reverse. Used his chest to get away from his man, but then Lamela's got to do better. Just go with some conviction and lace it into the bottom corner.
Clearance by Alisson goes out of play. We have 5 minutes left at Wembley Stadium. Liverpool consolidating, it seems, their position on top of the Premier League. Early days, of course, but it looks like maximum points from 5 games. Never done that before. Lamela's pulled down by Milner. It's going to be a free kick to Tottenham Hotspur. We had a dramatic finale at Anfield last season. You may remember between these two it ended up 2-2. Harry Kane missed a penalty, then scored a penalty. Salah had got both goals for Liverpool. Here's Son for Spurs, trying to find Lamela. Good challenge by Van Dijk, and then Harry Kane with a deflected cross off Van Dijk's shin puts a looping header under the crossbar, but this time, unlike Wijnaldum's, it doesn't go over the line. It's claimed comfortably by Alisson.
Well, it's great defending from Van Dijk. Just when it seemed like Lamella's first touch had got away, he was there to make a block. He's been brilliant today, Van Dijk, and this man in possession, Alexander-Arnold.
Find Salah this time. It's intercepted by Vertonghen. Here comes Henderson. Perhaps his hand, was it? Or is it a throw-in? Either way, Tottenham will have the opportunity to restart the game. Maurizio Pochettino just standing in his technical area, arms folded. Behind him, glum-looking, white-shirted Tottenham Hotspur supporters. This was supposed to be this game. The glorious return to White Hart Lane. It's been staged at Wembley, where Tottenham have had woes in the past. They've certainly had plenty of them today. They have been utterly second best. No question. You can't make any case for Tottenham Hotspur having been unlucky. They have been simply not good enough against Liverpool today. And that will be a huge concern. Here's Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's Mersey voices you can hear singing in North London, those who've made the trip south from Liverpool. They're going to enjoy the rest of the day, that's for sure. Here's Rose for Tottenham, finding Eriksen, and now Wanyama, the Kenyan international, driving forward. Another poor ball from him. You're right, he's replaced Dyer in every sense, hasn't he? He's replaced a player who's played poorly and has come on and played poorly himself so far.
Well, he's looked shorn of match tempo, match fitness. It's also been a step up for him today.
Looking on from the sidelines is Ray Clements, who of course served both of these two great clubs with such massive distinction. A goalkeeping great, European Cup winner with Liverpool. So won trophies with Spurs as well. Forward by Liverpool, cleared by Tottenham. Again, Mane's first to the ball, but a loose one finds Moura. He finds Lamela. Back to Lucas Moura again. Moura tussling with Henderson, tries a little step over, doesn't work. Milner just takes it calmly off him and manages to find Sturridge, who's pushed in the back. He goes flying down near the centre circle. Daniel Sturridge has already got a goal for Liverpool, scored in the 4-0 win against West Ham United back in August. 2 minutes to go. Liverpool look to have the job done. Milner chips the free kick forward towards Salah, tussling with Vertonghen. Vertonghen gets a toe poke to it and puts the ball out of play. Milner is still haranguing, cajoling, and generally marshalling his troops, although he has now handed the armband back to Jordan Henderson. You can hear Liverpool's fans, they're standing behind the goal that their team are attacking. They've had a whale of a time today. This is a big, big win for Liverpool, isn't it?
Yeah,
in the context of everything. They've continued to run, and they've done it against one of their, you would consider, main rivals.
Well, what a start to this season it's been. Obviously finishing 25 points behind Man City last. They needed to start well. They have 5 wins in a row. It's just fantastic. They put the pressure right back on the likes of City and Chelsea. They've set the standard so far. And look, what's key for them, I feel, is these away performances. This one's been much better than the Leicester one. Yes. Don't get me wrong, this has been a real step up. And they've looked really, really assured today.
Making a switch at the back, Trent Alexander-Arnold's had a good week with club and country. Comes off and is replaced by Joel Matip, the big Cameroon centre-half. He's not going to have too much time. There will be a little bit of stoppage time added on for a couple of injuries, but Liverpool are very close to 5-star start to the Premier League season. Here's Eriksen finding Rose for Spurs. How many stars they'd get out of 5? Not very many on today's showing. Van Dijk to Gomez, and now Salah. It's clever skill by Mo Salah. He still has it. Finds Mane. Mane opts to shoot with Wijnaldum in probably a better position to his left. The ball comes off Mane's left boot, and the Senegalese striker's effort goes a long, long way wide.
Super skill though, wasn't it, from Salah? Lovely little turn. Again, I guess for Klopp, he'll be thinking, have we made the most of our opportunities today? We could have had 3, 4, even more, and really sent the statement. As it is, look, 2-0 is a wonderful result, but he knows, I think he knows, in that top part of the pitch, that they're still yet to really fully reach their potential. Not quite there yet, as they were last season, but they're still winning games.
Yep, they are. Southampton next in the Premier League. Oh, it's given away, and here's Sturridge. Mane! Saved by Form, but it wouldn't have counted. The flag is up near side. It was Daniel Sturridge just tipping it forward with his toe into the path of Sadio Mane, who of course is looking to become the outright leading scorer in the Premier League this season, behind Alexander Mitrovic. Here's Eriksen. And now Trippier, You'll Never Walk Alone, is ringing around Wembley now. We're into 5 minutes of stoppage time. We've had nearly a minute and a half of that.
Well, they're almost playing alone because the crowd have really gone. It's empty, the stadium. They've seen enough.
Yes, Liverpool fans are singing about walking alone. Tottenham fans are walking together back towards Wembley Park Tube in a rather funereal procession after a performance which has dipped a long, long way behind the standards they would expect. Here's Lamela though. Surely it's too late for them. Lamela to Rose, who shoots, and a great block by Joe Gomez to block the shot by Danny Rose and put the ball behind.
Well, that's what they've done today, ever so well. When it looks like someone's going to get a clean strike or a cross in, they're there, they're blocking it, they're in their faces. Liverpool defended really well.
Rose is not a prolific scorer, though he has scored against Liverpool in the past, but not today. Christian Eriksen with the corner for Tottenham Hotspur. Plenty of empty seats behind him. It's not cleared by Liverpool. Lamela strikes it into the corner of the net, but it's probably too late. 2.5 minutes of stoppage time to go. Eric Lamela with a crisp left foot volley which whizzed into the corner from a difficult angle. There may just still be time for Tottenham Hotspur. It'll make it a nervous finish for Liverpool. It's Tottenham 1, Liverpool 2.
Well, it's a lovely lace strike across goal, but because Liverpool marked zonal, there's no one actually picking him up, so he's completely free at the back post. Chests it, pops off his chest, gets it down, laces it across Alisson, who had no chance. That's a lovely lace finish.
Well, the Tottenham fans who are left in the stadium, and not to say there were too many of them, are suddenly beginning to feel that something might happen here. Liverpool will be spitting feathers if they let this one go. Wonderful technique by Lamela. Oh, and Liverpool have given away a free kick here. Virgil van Dijk on the Tottenham goal scorer. There are still 2 or so minutes left. Van Dijk conceding a free kick midway inside the Liverpool half, wide on the right hand side. Klopp has got an expression now which suggests, oh no, surely not. Surely we're not going to blow this. Well, this could be huge. Tottenham have piled everyone forward as you'd expect for this Kieran Trippier delivery. He does deliver well, of course. It's nodded away by Wijnaldum, and then by Matip, and then by Henderson. Liverpool have survived that particular sortie, but here comes Danny Rose bypassing Wijnaldum easily, trying to find Vertonghen. Tottenham want a free kick, and Michael Oliver is telling everyone to calm down. Danny Rose is charging around, waving his arms. It's going to be a throw-in only to Tottenham Hotspur. We're in the final minute of the game, the 5th minute of stoppage time. Danny Rose steps back with the ball in his hands, shaping to throw long into the Liverpool box. It might be the last chance of Tottenham to get what would be an undeserved point. It's headed away by Henderson. Back in it comes, and then Lamela, and good run into the box, and Son goes down claiming a corner, but the referee says it came off his boot and slewed wide. Well, Tottenham belatedly are trying to make a game of it, but they may well have left it far too late. I think that was the correct decision. The shot was blocked by Mane, but did come off Son last, and it's a goal kick to Liverpool. Klopp punches the air at the award of a goal kick as if he'd just been awarded a penalty. Still no whistle yet from Michael Oliver. Here's Daniel Sturridge, the ball up the right end of the field as far as Liverpool are concerned. It's Mane. It's full time. Liverpool 5 out of 5 at the start of the season for the first time ever. A 2-1 win over Tottenham Hotspur. Jorginho Wijnaldum with a header in the first half. Roberto Firmino with a tap-in to make it 2-0. Eric Lamela scored very late, too late for Tottenham, who are beaten for the second weekend running. And Liverpool have 15 points from 5 games. They sit proudly at the top of the Premier League. It has finished Tottenham Hotspur 1, Liverpool 2. You're listening to Premier League Live.